Welcome back to the World Triathlon podcast, and thanks as always for your ears as we hit season 4 with a bang. This year we'll be in the saddle with triathlonlive.tv with some exclusive discounts for our listeners to get live access to every race of the 2023 Championship Series, the Paris Olympic Test event, World Cups, Arena Games, Multisport World Championships in Ibiza, and plenty more from around the continents. More on that coming up, but for now, here's our first guest of the year giving us the inside scoop on the glitz and glam of the Global Triathlon Awards, off-season training with Anna Haug, and scything through Bermuda for 35 kilometres alongside the island's only Olympic champion. Today on the World Triathlon podcast, we catch up with one of the most talked about rising talents of the last 2 years. Within months of graduating in psychology and AI in 2020, she had scored a first World Cup podium in Karlovy Vary and has since kicked on apace, hitting a first WTCS podium at the start of 2021, following it up with victory in Leeds just before a strong debut Olympic campaign in Tokyo. The 27-year-old will be one of the favourites to be among the medals again in 2023. She is the Netherlands' Maya Kingma. Maya, hello, how are you and where are you?
Hi, thank you for the nice introduction and inviting me. I'm good, and at the moment I'm in Lanzarote, Club La Santa, together with Anna Haug to do some good training. It's definitely better weather here than in the Netherlands or in Germany, so really happy about that.
Great. Yeah, we've been sub-zero for about a week here in the UK, so the warmth of Lanzarote sounds lovely about now. So you're with Anne Haug. Is this an ongoing training relationship?
Yeah, actually we did it last year as well. So I had my Yokohama prep here in Lanzarote as well, which was really good. And I know Anna, I think from 2016, and she invited me to come over when she was still doing short distance races, just to see if I could help out with some swimming and stuff. And I think we just get along really well. So it's nice to I do a lot of my trainings on my own, but it's nice to do apart from the training, be together with someone, or for long endurance rides, you can do it together. And then the times go a bit quicker. So, of course, I have a lot to learn from her as well. And it's amazing just to be with her. And we could talk about so much. So, we always enjoy dinner together.
So literally beyond that, it's just you on your own most of the time, is it? How does the...
No, I do have a coach, but it's all apart from the federation. So since 2016, when I joined Anna in Germany, I was like, okay, things can be really different in triathlon and in a training setting. And that actually made me think about, looking for some different ways. So actually since 2017, I'm doing it mostly apart from the federation and just looking for my own swim coaches and my own group that I want to train, if I wanted to train with a group. And have my own coach. So since 2 years, I work together with Koen de Haan, which is, he used to be in swimming. He did some with the cycling team Sunweb, with the ladies team. And now he's in the rowing federation, actually, and they are doing a pretty good job in the Netherlands. But he knows a lot about triathlon, and I think we really fit each other. But we work on distance, so I don't see him that often. So most of my training sessions I do just from home. Swimming almost always alone, but I like that because I then just I know what training I have. I can do the easy pace really easy, or if they go hard, I can go hard. And I know the times I want to swim, and I just use the clock to do that. I don't really need another motivator to do that. With running, it's actually the same because I don't run a lot. It's probably also known already, but so the only few sessions I do, I just prefer to be able to focus on it and do what I think that it's best for me at that moment.
So very much a self-motivator then. I suppose, is it possible to reach the top of the sport if you're not a self-motivator?
Yeah, I think it's hard. But I think for all athletes, if you have to find your own way. And I think a lot of athletes, they do it on their own or with friends they choose themselves. And for some people, it means that they might have to find some motivation and some athletes that motivate them or each other to go out. And for some it's different. I think we're an individual sport, but there are definitely athletes that just prefer to do it together. But also some not. But I think they're all self-motivated, but they just have to find the ways to stay like that. Yeah. And for me, that's just enjoying the training and make it a bit fun. I started with this triathlon program in the federation, and I just immediately got injuries because I didn't run a lot. And if you're not tough enough, like injury-wise, or whatever's going on, or it just doesn't fit you, then you're not happy. So I was very unhappy, and even though I thought like, oh, I have some better days, if I look back on it now, I was like, no, I just didn't know what happy days are. And so I think that was one of the biggest reasons that I was like, and I knew like from swimming, it's a very technical sport, and I lost my swimming quite a bit. It was going backwards. So I was like, yeah, I understand that I'm not a swimmer anymore, so you might make less hours, but I want to keep like the first group. That's that has an advantage to be in the first group in triathlon.
Combined with that bike, it certainly does.
Yeah. So were actually multiple things, but I had so many injuries with running that I still pay the bill for that, because now I'm still like far behind the pace that I can run, because I have pretty fast 10K personal best, but my body is just not used to running the miles you need for that. I think I ran only during race season, and the whole winter I would be injured. So I have to make up some years, and that's why I have to be so careful now.
Were there periods where you were pining for going back to swimming? Because you were a national champion at swimming, right? And presumably seeing some of the people that you were training with and racing with, kicking on, were they to representing the Netherlands at the highest level as well?
Yeah, actually, to be honest, I think I did my first triathlons in 2012, and that was also because with swimming, I was mainly doing open water swimming, and I was a bit too young to go international. And with triathlon, I could like even go to the World Championships for juniors that year in Auckland. And that experience was just so great. And then the year after, I was allowed to do the WTCS race in Hamburg, because it was just a sprint race, and they knew that I would be front pack swimmer, so I would be in the race. I just remember that race, and with then the helicopters in the air, and I was like, wow, this is such cool sport. I just want to stick with triathlon, because swimming is of course, it's also a nice sport, but it's a bit the same, and triathlon has the challenge of balancing those three sports and disciplines, and your body has to change a bit. And if you're injured with swimming, you can still go for a run on a ride, and it's the other way around. If you're injured with running, you can do a lot of cycling and swimming. So I knew that I wanted to continue with triathlon. Yeah.
That is a hell of an opening salvo to a sport, like within the first year getting your first WTSS at the time start. Like, I hadn't really appreciated that, but yeah, you were on that Hamburg start line surrounded by presumably some of the biggest names in the world. And I mean, you sort of see and hear a fair bit about perhaps slightly inexperienced athletes and how it is to be in a huge bike pack when you're not so familiar with how it is. So yeah, how on earth was that as a first race? And were you desperate to stay out?
To be honest, it was crazy. It was definitely crazy, because even during the warm-up or before the swim warm-up, I remember it was one of the biggest athletes at that moment, and she came up to me asking if she was allowed to do a warm-up, and I was like, I don't know, I've never done this.
Who was this?
Sorry?
Who was it?
Yeah, I don't remember actually, because I was not that much in the sport yet, but I just knew that she was like, wow, I just know you from television. And and then I remember, like, I think I was the first one to turn around the first buoy in that race. And I was really afraid, because I thought I did something wrong. I was like, oh, maybe that was not the true start time. Maybe it was a tryout and we're only supposed to start at the second whistle or whatever. So I was really scared, and then I think I was first on the bike as well, and then the whole group came. And Hamburg with all this like tiny corners and the streets, I was completely lost in it. And I think like Anna actually she won that race, but of course she was like a bit behind in the swim. So they ride everything back together, and we started running, and I think I almost finished last. But so it was quite an experience. But yeah, I just loved it so much, and I loved that there was a challenge, and that there's still so much to improve. Even now, I know there's so much to improve. I mean, I don't have enough months to work on everything that I would like to work on, and yeah, I think that's just amazing in triathlon.
And then it was a bit of a wait for your next WTS start after that, was it? I mean, obviously kind of had the juniors kicking on and World Cup starts and so on, but yeah, that was still sort of, I don't know, is it quite good to then leave a big gap, build back, and then when you come back to that next WTS start line, you were feeling a bit more like, right, I'm prepared for this, but I've also got my completely green, slightly wide-eyed moment out of the way.
Yeah, I actually think it might not have been the smartest thing to do to let me race already in my second year of international triathlon. But yeah, at the time I think it was John Hellemans, and he said like, we just know you're a front pack swimmer, you might even come out first, and that increased my nerves before the race because like, okay, he is expecting me to come out first. But yeah, it gave me also some kind of security that with the swim it would be okay, and then I will just have to manage on the bike, and then the run didn't matter. And I think it just made my love for the sports like that. I knew, okay, I would love to explore this, and let's see if I can like compete in this level once in the future. So I think it's good that I went back to like the normal build-up, which is the European Cups and then maybe a World Cup, and yeah, and like that, because definitely I was not prepared for it, but it was a very good experience for me just to see there was a lot of things to win and to learn, and yeah.
I mean, when you see someone like a Tilda Manson, obviously last year had an amazing season and got that first World Cup win so early as well. So yeah, do you see a little bit? Do you kind of make an effort to try and kind of speak to them, or would you? Like looking back, apart from being asked if you're allowed to do a warm up by someone that probably should have known, yeah, I guess there's an element of just wanting to focus on what you've got to do, and yeah, probably not going to be the most what's the word, kind of gregarious and talkative on your first few start lines, are you? You just want to just get and get it done.
Yeah, exactly. And you just try to, at least I really try to look around and see how people do it and how people like prepare differently for their races. And I really had to find my own way to do that, because I'm always a bit like, for example, I had a very good advice from a psychologist like years ago. Actually, one psychologist that worked with my coach nowadays, but I didn't know that then. But he was like a bit like, if you're very introvert, then maybe before the race you should become not over introvert, because then you can lock yourself in. And I was really doing that. I was like, I have to focus on my own, and I'm not should bother nothing around me. And now I just learned that no, because then I'm just gonna go further and further down I have to lock myself in. So now I'm a bit more talkative and just try to look around a bit and see if someone else is wanting to have a casual chat, just to like get the nerves down a bit. So
there's not a lot of room for being introverted and in your own zone when you're surrounded by flailing limbs and that first buoy. And I mean, you're normally further ahead, but that's not a moment for just drowning out everything around you. There, you need to be.
No, definitely not before. No, definitely not during the race, but like before the race, before the lineup. You see athletes doing it differently, and I think that's really nice to see and to learn and to explore what's the best way for you, because I tried everything and now I know like I have to be somewhere in between. I have to have a certain focus, but I should not be too focused. So yeah, that was really nice just to figure out.
Did the going through the psychology degree at the same time as kind of coming through the ranks, I mean, did that add certain elements to your racing as well? Were you picking up things as you were going along that you felt actually really helped, or were they two very distinct worlds that didn't really overlap?
I think they were pretty distinct worlds actually, because of course I think it's really good if you're able to do some study or work or anything else apart from sport, because also for me it really helped me. But I didn't bring so much from my study itself towards the sport, apart from like the normal experience you get with like presenting or having to keep deadlines or working together with people. These are like the normal people skills that are very good. But just the visualization. But I already did it when I was a swimmer, long before I started studying psychology. It's just nicer that you, like, if you're studying and you see what happens in the brain, if you can just like imagine you're doing stuff that it really has effect on your brain. So that's nice to see, and it maybe gives you a bit more confidence that it helps. But yeah, there's also a big placebo. If you think it works, then it definitely will work. So yeah, it didn't make a big difference.
And not having your coach at races, presumably much of the time, then, if he's kind of doing rowing and this and that, and you're, yeah. So you've never really had that luxury of traveling as part of a team, or?
Yeah, sometimes I would really love to have my own coach or someone that's there always, and I know that I can trust that person and that's there for me, and we have the same thinking about the racing strategy and stuff. And yeah, maybe give a bottle or anything before the start. That's the basics. That would be really nice to have a bit of a safety environment. Yeah, and I don't know yet how it's gonna be for the next season, because now it looks a bit like we have to do it completely on our own. So yes, I don't know yet. It's all about money, right? Yeah, it's quite expensive to even go by yourself to races, and to bring someone, it's also it's just double the costs. And especially if I want to bring my coach, then I also have to pay for his hours. So yeah, it's quite complex. I'm just lucky that I have a boyfriend that's really used to like sports, and he used to be almost semi-professional cyclist, so he knows what it's about. And yeah, he's always also very like into tactics and just looking back with me together to the races, and see like, okay, this happened there. Maybe we should focus on that next time. What can we do to improve it? So it's good that, for me at least, it's good that some races are a bit closer to home. For example, last year he was there in Hamburg, and if I wouldn't have been injured, I would travel with him to Munich, to the European Champions as well. So of course, then he doesn't have a coach accreditation, but just having someone there around, that's really nice to just take off some of the normal business that's going on, like what you said, like with Flora, and then just have someone that you can give your jacket, or just give it back, or ask for some water, or if someone athlete just says like, just leave me be, then you know that maybe you should just do that and keep an eye, and if this person might need something anyways. But yeah, sometimes you have it. Like my boyfriend, he knows that like the morning before a race or something, he should not bother me. Like, I just want to have some focus, or I just want to switch off and don't focus. But yeah, sometimes, especially before the race, I do have some pre-race nerves, and if I have to eat like the dish before the race, I don't want to talk anything about the race, because I cannot swallow my food anymore if we talk about the race. Right. So I'm always saying, just talk about how nice the Australian Shepherd dogs are, or whatever, and then we just talk about that, and then he's going fine. Yeah, but then he knows if he just starts like, where do you want to go on a pontoon? And I'm like, no, not yet. We can talk about it if I have my bread or banana or whatever I'm eating at the moment. Yeah.
So what is the perfect sort of like, would you prefer a morning race? Do you prefer like an afternoon race? Does that always really drag? Are you kind of, for something like Tokyo that was such an early start, was that actually quite a good thing in some ways, apart from typhoon blowing in?
Yeah, No, that was absolutely perfect race. No, I think of course as a junior, most of the times it's like you're least important in the program. So you're very early in the morning, and I think I was really okay with that. But I also prefer to do something before I have the race. So I would love to have a 20-minute spin on the bike or go in the pool for 20 minutes. And if you're racing that early, then you have to wake up at 3 at night. So I think more now I like the bit afternoon races, not the late afternoon, but the afternoon races. That you can just wake up at a normal time, do some walk or swim or whatever it's available, and then have your good food. And and then prepare for the race. I think that's a bit nicer. But like waiting until 7 p.m. No, I think that would be a long day.
Yeah. A nighttime triathlon though would certainly have its appeal. I think, go somewhere hot and just have illuminated buoys all up and down in the water and stuff. That'd be great. Good telly.
Yeah, maybe. If we like to swim properly, then maybe, yeah.
So the off season, has it been an enjoyable one, a particularly interesting or different one in any way? Are you in fact, a good off seasoner, or do you sit on the sofa with one eye out the window thinking, can I just squeeze in another session before the family come round? Or
no. I actually do like off season because I can even do more of the stuff that I just enjoy to do. So like I said, I always try to make my training sessions fun. So in the Netherlands, I do a lot of mountain biking or gravel riding instead of just always go on the road with my road bike. But I think in winter or during off season, you can do that a bit more easily. So you can, I don't know, we just moved. So we lived in the south of the Netherlands, like in Maastricht, when I did my studies as well. And now we moved a bit more to the north. And graveling and mountain biking there is even more nice. And there are a lot of cycling groups. And normally those cycling groups, they always go too fast. And not because the level is that high, but just because they enjoy to make a bit of a race of every training session. Right. So during most of my season, like serious training, I don't go with them because my easy sessions have to be very easy. Like in the Netherlands, I ride like 25 k's an hour, just that slow. So if I join them, it's gonna be a bit too hard. But during off season, I can do that because then it doesn't matter. I don't have a serious session the next day. So I did enjoy that, but of course, I also have an injury to come back to. So it was not like off season, like completely switch off from sports, because I had to go to the MRI scan and check out the ankle and make a plan of how we can recover and slowly build up and doing some strength. And so it's been a bit different. And of course it's super short because we only ended at the end of November. So it felt a bit weird that it was already Christmas and you're like, oh, I completely forgot that it's already Christmas and maybe I should have sent some Christmas cards, but it went all so quickly. So definitely an interesting off season this year.
Yeah. But also obviously only got last year, it wasn't until May in Yokohama that the season really got underway, was it? And that felt like it maybe dragged a little bit. I mean, there had been the arena games and so on, but this is straight, not only extended to the end of last year, but straight in normal time this year, and it's gonna just shrunk that whole period down a lot, isn't it?
I'm actually not sure if I'm gonna make it to Abu Dhabi because I actually really enjoyed it that at least the WTS season, they only started in May, because athletes just need the time to build up. If we want to survive a whole season, we want to be strong not only at the first one but also at the last one. You need some proper training to be done, and you need some proper off season. My main focus is just on getting completely recovered from my injuries and just having the proper training in, and then I will see which races I can make. But the main focus for me is just to get better again and improve some things that I saw that last year could be improved. So I just want to make my better self, my better self first before I start racing again.
Yeah. What did the MRI finally reveal then? Because obviously we saw you at the pre-Bermuda, almost like, was it the day before or just before the start of the race even, where you were kind of having your ankle checked out and can you, can't you, should you, shouldn't you start that? Was that literally when that issue flared up? Obviously got through that race and the championship finals, but is it only now that you've found out exactly what the issue is?
Well, actually, I twisted my, I think my right ankle already in Hamburg during the race. And I could run through it. But yeah, that's also why I had to cancel the next day because it wasn't that great. And that's also why I had to cancel the European Championships. And why I was a bit unprepared for Cagliari, but I just hoped that I could make it. And I think I was just maybe a bit too careful still because like the right ankle wasn't completely great yet, so it was just like a normal twist. But of course there's some damage and you have to be careful, you have to build up again, give it some time to recover. And I think I was just a bit too careful on my run and just thinking about it too much, like okay, I should land properly, and and then you get a bit out of your normal run form. And I think that's the moment that I twisted it in Bermuda again, like 3 days before the race. So I'm really thankful that Team GB offered their help with their physiotherapist for 5 minutes just to see if I had to go for a scan or anything. And the help in Bermuda was awesome. How the sport doctor there, and we did an echo and we just checked some things, and she really said like all the all the tendons and all the small muscles there, they are like not screaming, but they're definitely talking to me. I really loved how she said that, but I rolled it around like before Bermuda, so it was like on all sides, in the front, the left, the right side, the inner side. It all was a bit not that good. And she was really like, you are not gonna race, definitely not. But I was like, if it's not completely torn off or something, then I cannot really make it worse. Of course, I'm gonna prolong the time that it has to heal, because if I would have taken rest, then it would like heal quicker. But I just wanted to do it in Bermuda because I just love the course, because so many races, and at least definitely for the females, it's always exciting. But if we have like a nice bike course, then it's the whole 2 hours is exciting. There's so much happening. So I really loved to race Bermuda. So I was just like, I will just give it a go, and maybe like even if the swim doesn't turn out, because I have my ankle like completely taped. So the medical team only allowed me to race if I would like tape it in a 90 degree, that I could not twist it again. But of course that isn't great.
Lost all of that.
Yeah. And also for the running, it's not great. So even on a bike, I wasn't sure if I could even run. But I just enjoyed it so much to do the bike ride there.
Well, I mean, as far as anesthetics go, riding with Flora up front, two of you together through Bermuda, probably pretty good, no? I mean, taking your mind off any pain.
Yeah, exactly. No, the bike was, I also just love the bike course because there's so much challenge, because it doesn't favor the good swimmers, because I was not a good swimmer in Bermuda. But I could just jump twice because of the hill and the tough course. And yeah, it was just amazing. Also, just the love for triathlon and for Flora, of course, in Bermuda. It makes you fly. So that was just a great experience. But yeah, after that, of course, I had a new injury to recover from. And we didn't do any new scans after that, because we were like, okay, we checked it out pretty properly in Bermuda. But I didn't do much running, like maybe not even any running. I think I did 4 run sessions in between Bermuda and Abu Dhabi. So I also knew Abu Dhabi wasn't going to be great. But yeah, of course, you want to finish the series. And I was like, probably I cannot make it worse. I just had some extra time to recover for it. But then we had the crash, and I think I just landed on it again. So on the next MRI scan, we saw some tendon over the ankle that was a bit damaged. So I had to take 4 weeks or 6 weeks off running and walking and stuff like that. And now I'm building up again. Yeah, so I think it's one of the worst seasons I've ever had, like with injury wise or bad luck wise. But still finishing top 10 at the World Champ. So I just have to see that as a big improvement if you look at 5 years ago or even 4 years, 3 years ago.
Totally. I mean, to be able to be playing such a decisive part in those kind of races with those kind of people. We spoke in it would have been towards the end of 2020 when you were on the podcast, and I think you just had your Carla Vivari first podium, and you were saying, like, looking back to Hamburg, which was your 6th place, right, in 2020, I think, or that, that was like you felt that was a kind of a breakthrough moment, and that you were then like, oh, maybe I can push onto a podium. So to go from maybe I can push onto a podium to looking back at a season like that, saying that it was full of bad luck and so on, like, is a chunk of that down to, like, maybe even down to that run in Carla Vivari, where, by your admission, swim biker, but you've got the run, and to do it on that course was obviously an amazing achievement. And then equally, Leeds, tough, grueling, draining kind of run, right, on that course. And 2021 produced the gold. So is that a big mindset difference that helped you get to that? Do you think the self-confidence really has kind of shifted things along massively for you?
I think it's also the way of how you go for a race. Because, of course, when we talk about Hamburg in 2013, like my first race in the series, it was like, I will just see what happens. And, of course, I think I did my second WTS race in Leeds in 2017. And then I was in the first pack with Flora and Jess, and that was also just the experience, like, okay, my swim and bike is quite on point, but my bike was still that you feel so empty after that bike ride, because the level that they are at, it's just so high.
Yeah.
So my run wasn't that great anymore, and then you just, like, it was a bit more of like, I have to be there with the swim and the bike, and then I will just have to survive the run. And then gradually I learned that, okay, now my bike is such steady thing that I can do something on the run, but then you just hope for a top 10 or a top 15. And then in Hamburg in 2020, I was suddenly so close to the podium, because in seconds it was not that much, but I wasn't in the mindset that I could go for the podium. So that's a really different mindset, because you're like, wow, that's already a top 8. That's amazing. That's amazing. I'm so happy I'm top 8. If I can hold this, maybe a top 6, And that's such a different mentality from, I'm gonna smash that run and see if I can go for the podium. So I think that was the biggest, like, switch that I had to knock around, to go, like, okay, I'm not just running to do a run, I'm gonna run to compete now. And I think that was a big difference in how you approach the races.
And then in Leeds, were you sort of surprising yourself as you carried on and as you kept? I can't remember how the final sort of stages played out, but just how you were feeling and how to still be able to maintain that lead.
Yeah, definitely. But I also forced myself not to think about it. So, of course, we had a nice breakaway with, I think, just the 3 of us, with Sophie Caldwell and Jessica Learmonth. And, of course, on the bike, I think we all 3, we knew, like, if we would continue this pace and working nicely together, then we might have a big enough gap to, like, go to the podium with the 3 of us. And I think we all 3 knew it, but I really just try not to think about it. So during the race, you're like, so in the moment when everyone is like, you have the motorbike in front of you, and like, you have like this 2 seconds that you realize that you're like going for the medals probably, but then you just have to say, or at least I do it, that I say like, okay, that's nice, but you're running a race now, focus, and just focus on breathing and how you're gonna run, and focus on what's happening around you and if they're catching up or not, and how to get to the corners well, and what if I think it's going a bit too slow, or if I can go faster, or you're just trying to focus on that. So I think that's also why I like I saw the movie afterwards after the finish, and I did not even like was conscious about what I was doing during that finish tragic the last 10-20 meters, because you're just so focused the whole race, like the whole 10K. You're just like, okay, I have to pace it right. I have to think about if I'm gonna go on the downhill or on the uphill or on the corners, and that's what you're focusing on. So I didn't really think about it until I saw like the finish line.
And everyone says that, yeah, so many things have to kind of click into place to be in that, what is a very elite club of a WTCS gold medal, right? There's not many that achieve it. And if you think about, there's a lot of the kind of breakthrough athletes that you think maybe in 23, a podium or topping the podium would be in their sights, like an Emma Lombardi or Albert Kiar, or even a Taylor Spivey hasn't topped that WTCS podium yet. So, and that mindset that you talked about, it's not something that can be coached, is it? It's a switch. It's a moment that you find yourself in a race in, finally, after so many times of trying, right? So, yeah. I mean, it's not a piece of advice, is it? It's not. It's circumstance and putting yourself in that position.
Yeah, I think so. You really have to allow yourself to think like that, and then also allow yourself to get back to the focus that you need for it. And of course you have to enjoy it a bit, and it really helps if it's going well. But you also see that in triathlon, especially on the Olympic distance races, so much can happen. Your race is not over if you're having a bad swim. So much can happen. So it's definitely a mentally tough thing. I mean, in every sport is always like you lose more than you win. I think that's definitely true. And I think some mental coaching might definitely help to like get conscious about what you're thinking or what you're doing. But yeah, it's definitely a game of practicing and have the environment in which you can explore that.
Yeah, and have a race like a Bermuda, which is probably your favorite ever 6th place finish, isn't it? Like, that you can leave a race. Obviously, the injury was no doubt playing on your mind, but you can leave a race having dictated so much of it, and not necessarily be thinking what if. You had to be in a different mindset again there, didn't you, of I've got to run within my limits. The podium was just sort of drifting out of view, which obviously would have been an amazing, incredible achievement. But yeah, that 6th would have still felt good, I guess.
Yeah, it did. It's always nice if a plan works out. And of course I was a bit scared before the race, like, oh, if I go all out on a certain stretch, or if I try to gap it to Flora, then maybe I don't get it, or maybe I'm like some in between and what I'm gonna do, So it's always a risk you have to take, and you have to like, go for it completely or don't do it. And that's are the choices that you have to learn to make on your own. During those races and during those split seconds, you have to make that decision.
And the two of you sort of managed to keep Taylor Knibb at bay, and there were a lot of reasons why that was as well. Obviously, kind of, I'm sure Flora was licking her lips as it started to rain coming out of the swim and so on, and it was kind of playing to her advantage. And then as you bridged up, well, she had to bridge up twice, Taylor, didn't she? That was what no doubt did for her legs a bit as well. But if you think about you 3 plus Katie Zafira's Pistons again, like that's another amazing cyclist that will change the way that those races are. When you think about when Jorgensen's her big announcement of coming back, and it's kind of racing's very different to when the sport that she left, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, of course I talk with Anna sometimes about it as well, because of course I think she's almost done for 10 years in short distance racing, went to long distance racing. And I think the level increased so much, because when I did Hamburg in 2013, I was only 17 years old and came out like first out of the water with like not that hard a swim, And now that's not possible anymore. There are more girls that can like swim pretty fast, and the bike is like completely different. Of course, it makes a difference when which course it is and if there's like any space to do something, because it's not on every course. It's like nicely a cycling course. But yeah, I really think it changed, because sometimes people say like, oh, you're running much slower than we did like 10 years ago or something. But I think, yeah, but I remember the bike ride in Hamburg in 2013. I was scared in the group, but my watch it was not high, and now it is. So of course, if you ride almost at your threshold for an hour after you did a very fast swim, yeah, of course you're not gonna run your fastest 10K. That's impossible. But if you have a fast swim and then chill out for an hour and have a cup of tea together on the bike, and then you have to run, it's a completely different run.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm curious about what will happen, how the races will look like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what Flora was able to achieve the last 2 seasons is obviously incredible, and can't imagine a more worthy champion, an Olympic champion as well. But is the way that it's come about also quite a good lesson for the likes of you in terms of, it's kind of showing that you shouldn't rush these things.
Yeah, definitely. No, I think I learned that with all the injuries as well in the last 10 years, that I just, it's all about consistency, and it's about learning. And how we started the podcast as well, there's just so much to learn and so much to improve. And it just takes years and years to get that all right. And then you have to do it in the races. So it's a different deal from doing it in the training and having that right, and smashing the times that you want to do. But it's a very different thing to do that in the races. And then you have to learn to do the races. And then you have to learn to own the races and learn to race the races. So it's it's just a long trajectory, I think, in triathlon, especially because we just have 3 disciplines. Yeah.
Yeah. And equally, Leo, I suppose, is another brilliant example of the way that he kind of snuck in almost the back door and took that world title. If you were looking at Flora and thinking, wow, how that's an amazing level, and George Rattel as well, then something like the Leo fairy tale story has got to be another kind of boost to everyone knocking on the door, is it?
Yeah, I think so. Of course, it was amazing to see, and it shows you that the road is always open. And yeah, you just have to wait for it and work for it and just focus on yourself, because it makes no sense to focus on others because you don't know what's going to happen. And I think for everyone it works a bit differently, because my main focus is not like racing the races or finishing on the podium or stuff. I just want to improve myself. So every day I just know like, I could do this better on the swim, or today I my corners were not that great on the bike, and I just want to improve that. And then I think that's the best thing you can do, is just like improve yourself, and then at the race day you will see where you are at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so Abu Dhabi kind of fast approaching, you're weighing up the ankle and how good an idea that would be for you to race. But at this stage of the season, are you either mentally or in terms of training, diet, anything like that, is it something else that you're kind of bringing into this season that you haven't necessarily tried out before? Do you feel like this is the time that you should always be bringing in something to keep it fresh, or do you prefer to tick away and kind of do familiar things?
I actually really love to just have the base training, because especially like we had like actually 2 or maybe even 3 pretty weird World Triathlon seasons, in which it was quite hard to balance traveling, racing, and do some proper training. So I'm just really glad that I can now like put in the consistent work, and just because you feel stronger every week that you put in some proper training, you just grow stronger. So I don't do much different or special. I just put in the very easy long hours and work on some technical aspects of the training. And of course, I have to recover from the injury, but I just go so much stronger if I just do the easy hours and I do them really easy, and then I just need a few hard sessions to be ready again. So yeah, I just really love to just put the normal work in and go for the gravel rides, the mountain bike rides, and mix it up a bit.
No skiing. We've been thinking about, surely with the Winter Triathlon World Championships coming up, we can make that part of the off season, easing back in. Hayden Wild was running in the snow the other day. I've seen Nina Ryman, Chonga Lehman hitting the slopes and doing that. I think it could be Winter Triathlon, Arena Games, and then into the season. That could be the new schedule.
Yeah, well, for me it's enough racing, but if you want to try, go ahead. Yeah, I haven't actually done any skiing or anything, just ice skating, because in the Netherlands it's quite big.
Yeah, cool.
And of course in the normal winters where we had ice on the normal waters outside, then I used to do it as a kid, but not anymore, because there's no ice anymore. And yeah. Yeah, never been a winter athlete. No.
Plus, I mean, throwing in, the small matter of a gala awards this off season, just to you were in Nice. It was last weekend. Yeah, it looked like a great event. Did you have a nice time down there?
Yeah, we had a nice time. It was a quick flight up and down again, but Nice is a beautiful city. I just know it from the Grand Prix races we did there as well. And I think it's so nice that they're just like connecting a bit, like with World Triathlon and also PTO, to just like interconnect a bit, because I think there's quite a lot of short distance athletes that at least trying to do like the PTO distances or the 70.3s. I'm also looking forward to explore that a bit. And yeah, I think so many fans of the sports, they know the long distance racing a bit more than the short distance racing, because it's more comparable to what they do. And I think it's really big, and I think it would be really nice if we can like go a bit more to what they are doing with the long distance racing and some proper courses, and if we intermix that a bit. So I really enjoyed also that they were like trying to do that. And of course the first time it's always a bit tough. You don't know what to expect. You try to organize it well, but you don't know who will show up or if it would be good or not. But I think it was a really good first event. And I really enjoyed it to also see athletes like dressed up. It's really different from when you see them at a race. And I think the winners, of course, they definitely deserved it. And I think it's so nice when some of the winners had a very nice speech. I mean, that one of Flora, and also from other winners, like just the talks that like shows the motivation and the heart of triathlon sports. I think that's beautiful, and we could I think we could interact and how do you say it, connect a bit more with everyone that just loves triathlon in each form that there is at the moment.
Yeah. And like you said, like those different formats, and they are very different offerings, like from World Triathlon to PTO to Super League, but they're proving very complementary to each other at the moment. If your calendar is allowing, then that's the tricky part, isn't it? I suppose, but the opportunities are there more than ever if you want to take them.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it will only increase the level at every discipline, because of course, like when we first started, or when Super League first started, or like the relays first started, everyone is kind of able to do it because no one is really specialized in it. But I think to grow a sport, people have to become more experienced and more specialized in it, because some athletes will know like, okay, but I'm definitely more like a long endurance athlete, and then of course 70.3 and Olympic distance racing, it's quite close to each other. But I think Super League racing is different. So in time, when of course triathlon is still a young sport if you compare it to a lot of other sports. So I think in time when they're just getting more athletes and more specialization, then I think the level will definitely increase, and it won't be that easy to intermix Ironman racing with Super League racing. I think you see it already a bit, that like even if you take Gustav or something. Like, of course, he's a great athlete in all parts of racing, but maybe his swim is not as fast as it should be for Super League or sprint distance racing.
Yeah.
And I think in the longer time we wait, the more specialization there will become, and then the level will only increase at every discipline. So I think it's interesting to see how that will be in like 10 or 20 years.
And bang in the middle of that is the Olympic distance, right? So that's kind of
yeah,
beautifully.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I just love the Olympic distance racing because there's you're of course allowed to draft. So of course one of the beautiful things in like long distance racing is that you do it all on your own. But I also just love the tactics of Olympic distance racing because you have time to make up any mistakes, and there is time to take a risk, to try to break away. And then if the breakaway doesn't work, no worries, because there's still 30K to go or something, or a 10K run. So yeah, I just love it how the Olympic distance racing is. So that will also be my main focus for the next season.
Great. Well, we can't wait to see it. Just before we wrap up, though, you've got to give us your, in true Ryan Seacrest fashion, best dressed of the Global Triathlon Awards. There was Vincent Louis lapels on his jacket, were quite something. There was pretty sick looking outfits going around. Who was your number one?
Oh, that's a tough question.
You're right on the spot.
Oh, wow. I just want to look at the pictures again, because I was just impressed by everyone. Because it's so weird to see people in the dresses, because also the athletes that came, I think, via Super League with like Taylor Spivey and Chelsea Burns and Media, and like I was just so impressed. And also for like we, like Anna and me, were that's like completely black bikes here, and then it turned out we also had a black dress, both of us. So I think it was just so nice to see it, and I just hope that there will be some pictures that I can go through again. But I think definitely like the French athletes, they all look great. And I think also the dress of Flora, of course, she looked beautiful as well.
I mean, is it a bit like wearing white to you're the only person at a wedding that's allowed to wear white if you're the bride. You're the only person that's allowed to go all in gold if you are Olympic and world champion.
I don't know if she thought about it. Actually, I didn't think about it, but now you say it, yeah, maybe. Yeah, but I think even if you wear a very, how do you call it? It's not a shy dress, but like if you just wear like dark blue or something, but if it's really pretty, then it also can catch the eye. So it's just really interesting to see what people pick.
And now back into the tri-suits, back into the bike wear, back to the grind. How long in Lanzarote left? Have you got a good chunk of time there?
A week, actually, just a week. And then I have to go back to the winter in the Netherlands.
Yes.
But let's hope the snow will melt away then.
Yeah, you few familiar faces out there. Like, it's the sort of location of choice for Lucy Charles Barkley and so on for training, isn't it? Are you kind of fist bumping folk all over the island, or familiar faces there?
Yeah, there are a lot of familiar faces, and not only at Club La Santa, but also on the other side of the island. I know there are quite a lot of long distance athletes as well, like Yuri Keulen, a long distance athlete, but used to be short course in the Netherlands as well, so I know him pretty well. So there are a lot of athletes or other people who are like texting like, oh, I'm on the island as well, should we meet up?
Cool. Well, yeah, I really appreciate you coming on and taking the time out of the Lanzarote sunshine to talk with us. It's been great to have you on.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you for the nice talk.
Best of luck for the season. I hope the ankle continues to repair, and can't wait to see you out there very soon.
Thanks. Looking forward to it too.
Cheers, Maya.
Thanks.